Oleksandr Usyk is back in camp, preparing for one of the most anticipated rematches in recent heavyweight history, his second clash with Daniel Dubois. While the stakes are high, Usyk's demeanor remains calm, collected, and even joyful. Far from the image of an overly intense or tense training camp, Usyk's preparation is filled with laughter, rhythm, and an unwavering belief in his process. He's often seen smiling, joking with his team, and even dancing during workouts, a clear sign that the Ukrainian champion believes in keeping the mood light. His camp reflects a simple philosophy. Staying happy keeps the mind sharp and the body loose. Usyk's approach is not just about physical conditioning, it's about mental clarity and emotional balance. He trains daily with precision and purpose, but avoids the stress and tension that can drain an athlete before fight night. This relaxed exterior, however, masks a deep seriousness. Usyk knows exactly what needs to be done. Every session is sharp and calculated. His footwork, combinations, and reflexes are constantly refined, never rushed, always focused. His team supports this unique balance between fun and focus, knowing that Usyk performs at his peak when he feels free and confident. As the rematch with Dubois approaches, Usyk remains the embodiment of calm intensity, proving that being composed can be just as powerful as
Daniel Dubois, Oleksandr Usyk, undisputed. It's been confirmed now for July 19th at Wembley Stadium. Can Dubois shock the world? Can he do what he couldn't do last time? You know, he gave it a good go when they fought in, what was it, Germany, the first match, wasn't it? And he'll come on leaps and bounds since then, as we saw against Anthony Joshua. So you've got to give him a chance, better chance than last time.
Can he shock the world in a word? Yes, he can, because Usyk's 30, is he 38?
38, I think, yeah.
So, I've been 38, it was 9 years ago, but I know how it feels. I retired at 36, I was nearly 37. I was a month away from my 37th birthday when I chinned grows at Wembley in front of 80,000 fans and went on to become an International Boxing Hall of Famer. You know, that was 11 years ago. And it was hard for me, and I did the weight easy, really. I say easy because I'm not lying around in spacesuits trying to take weight off. I'm actually eating all week, and I'm doing it properly, professionally, like most of all the Hall of Famers, world champs. They do it correct. Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather. They don't struggle at weight. They get down to the weight. They do it properly. They get in the ring on point.
Training hard. But Usyk's preparation isn't without critics or challengers. Former world champion Carl Froch weighed in with his perspective, noting the changes since their first fight. Froch pointed out that the initial bout was held in Poland, and he believes the rematch brings new dynamics. Since that night, Daniel Dubois has made major improvements, especially following his stunning knockout victory over Anthony Joshua. Froch believes that win has injected a new level of belief and maturity into Dubois, turning him into a legitimate threat. Speaking from experience, Froch, who retired at age 38 after a memorable career, highlighted by his rematch win over George Groves at Wembley and his latest...
I just think that Usyk, at 38 years old, although he's not got the issue with weight because it's heavyweight, you can weigh what you want.
True.
He's still got a mind that's slowing down. They've still got reflexes that are diminishing. They've still got old joints and old bones.
Yeah,
He's got
Tyson Fury fights.
Hundreds of fights in the amateurs.
Yeah, taking it out of him.
And Dubois young and fresh. And the first fight was quite close when Dubois was unsure of himself.
Yeah.
And Dubois gone and flattened AJ. Had a couple of fights with Gerald Miller. He's looked good against Hrgovic. You've got to say that Dubois now is a different machine.
Self-confidence will be...
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight that's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win. Yeah. I don't think Usyk should keep fighting. I said, remember last fight with Tyson, I said once you beat Tyson, retire. That's it. You're done. You made 100
million. What are you saying? 60-40 in favour of Usyk?
Their induction into the Boxing Hall of Fame warned about the challenges of aging in the sport. While Usyk fights at heavyweight and doesn't have to worry about weight cuts, Froch argues that age still affects the body. Reflexes, joint durability, and reaction times all start to slip. He mentioned the toll that hard fights, especially Usyk's battles with Tyson Fury, can take even on elite athletes. In contrast, Dubois is still young and fresh, entering his physical prime. Froch pointed out that in the first Usyk fight, Dubois looked unsure of himself. But now, following the Joshua win and a string of strong performances, he's more confident than ever. Froch believes that while Usyk is still the favorite,
we've been together now for 24 months. We did that first fight was 14 months camp, and new fighter, new trainer relationship. Now 24 months later, can you imagine? And you've seen what he's done in between that time, from the Usyk fight to now, what he's gone and done, and become a world champion, and the personnel he has beaten on the way. That suggests to how far he's come. And we're going to top it up by, this is all meant to be, this has all been written by God. The God that I worship. I question Usyk about his religious beliefs, because if you're a godly person like he prides himself on, how can you lie behind in the name of God? That's a sin, a big sin.
This rematch is far more dangerous. He even suggested that Usyk, having already achieved so much, may want to consider retirement after the Fury fights, arguing he has nothing left to prove. Don Charles, Dubois' longtime trainer, offered an emotional and spiritual view on their journey. He reflected on the hard work, the growth, and the divine timing that has shaped Dubois' evolution. According to Charles, their partnership began with an intense 14-month training camp leading into the first Usyk fight. Since then, Dubois has grown into a world-class competitor. Charles highlighted Dubois' accomplishments, including capturing a world title and defeating top-tier opponents, as validation of their work. He described their journey as being guided by a higher power, believing that everything is happening according to a divine plan. In a pointed remark, Charles even questioned the sincerity of Usyk's public displays of faith, suggesting that invoking God while making false claims could carry moral consequences, a subtle jab at the controversy from their first fight. That controversy, of course, still lingers. The defining moment came in the 5th round of their 2023 clash, when Dubois landed a hard body shot that sent Usyk to the canvas. Referee Luis Pabon ruled the punch a low blow, giving Usyk time to recover. The debate over whether it was truly illegal still rages on. For Dubois and his camp, that moment...
He knows himself now, though, Jim.
Yeah.
So he knows how hard it is, how tough it is. I believe the first fight with him that he'd had enough. He'd had enough, and he quit. So it is what it is. You can make as much of that or as little of it as you want. I think Daniel Dubois is now coming to a different stage in his career, where he's understanding now of what needs to be done and what's at stake. I think he's shown that he can overcome difficult times in fights now. And I think the victory over Anthony Joshua is going to propel his confidence levels to an all-time high. So I think he's well in this fight. I think he's a super dangerous challenger, and he'll go into it with a lot of belief. but I believe that belief will get shrunk. As the rounds pass and as the shots start getting landed on him, the questions will be asked of him again. Oleksandr Usyk will be victorious.
Is at the heart of the rematch narrative, a stolen opportunity they're eager to reclaim. Meanwhile, Usyk remains focused on what he can control. One viral moment from his current training camp featured him breaking into a playful dance in the gym, surrounded by laughter and music. It was classic Usyk, lighthearted but locked in. His ability to maintain this balance has become one of his trademarks as a champion. From a boxing standpoint, one of Usyk's greatest weapons is his speed. Even in the land of giants, where knockout power often steals the spotlight, Usyk's quick hands and nimble footwork make him a nightmare for any heavyweight. In training, he continues to hone these attributes.
This guy's an anomaly, he's a freak, he's the genius that boxing needs. This guy is, I can't put it into words how good he is at what he does, Jim, but ultimately all good things have to come to an end. Eventually, yes, but I just don't think Daniel Dubois is the man to bring it to an end.
So you go Usyk again?
I'm going Usyk again, and I think by late stoppage, if not points.
Stoppage?
I think he can stop him. Yeah, I just think he figures it out. It's what his mindset and the frequency he's on is a different level to everybody else. It's like this guy's gone up against a 6'9" monster in Tyson Fury and figured him out. Yeah. This guy's gone up against one of the biggest punches in boxing in Anthony Joshua and figured him out twice. He's already beaten Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is a big, strong guy, immense power. I give him all the credit in the world, and he's overcome many demons, but he hasn't shown us yet that he can get this job done over 12 rounds, and I just don't see him stopping Oleksandr Usyk.
Slipping punches with ease, darting in and out of range, and landing rapid-fire combinations. His speed doesn't just allow him to score, it helps him dictate the pace and control the geography of the ring. Former cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew also shared his perspective on the upcoming rematch. Bellew offered a balanced assessment, stating that Dubois is not the same fighter Usyk faced the first time around. According to Bellew, Dubois has matured significantly and now understands what it takes to compete at the...
I said it to Oleksandr Usyk, and there's no favoritism here. I think it's Daniel Dubois' time. I think he's a ferocious
I have to agree with
beast. Absolutely. and I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think what walked into Wembley Stadium was an absolute gladiator, and I'm thrilled for him that he's coming out of himself, growing as a man, becoming more worldly and able to communicate with the media, and I think it's going to be a fabulous fight. Do
you believe that he can get it done inside the distance?
I think he has to get it done inside the distance.
Yeah. You don't think he can win on points?
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely. But whatever, July 19th, brilliant.
Elite level. He acknowledged that Dubois seemed to give up in the first fight, but believes he's better equipped mentally and physically to handle adversity now. Still, Bellew remains cautious. He sees Dubois as a real threat, but believes Usyk's skill, ring IQ, and surgical precision will ultimately prove too much. In the end, Bellew expects Usyk to win, perhaps not easily, but convincingly. As July 19th draws near, the narrative continues to build. A calm but...
Just tell me, head on the block now, does Dubois do it second time against Usyk? He gets outboxed, yeah?
He gets outboxed again.
Does he get stopped?
Quite potentially, sure. Nobody's beaten Oleksandr Usyk. You know, I don't want to make it sound too cliche, but for me, where heavyweight boxing is concerned, he's head and shoulders. He's Premier League and everybody else's first division. As much as I like Dubois, and Dubois is improving all the time, still not got what it takes in my eyes to beat Usyk.
And finally...
Beats everyone else, though.
Yeah, he does.
Deadly technician in Usyk, seeking to settle unfinished business with class and confidence. A reborn warrior in Dubois, now mature, powerful, and hungry to rewrite his legacy. This rematch isn't just about belts. It's about pride, redemption, and the pursuit of truth inside the ropes. Among those weighing in is Tony Bellew, who didn't hold back in his praise for Usyk. Describing the Ukrainian as an extraordinary talent and a genius, Bellew insisted that Usyk operates on a level few fighters.
I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen. I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk, where Usyk. Some people think that it should have been a punch to the body. It shouldn't have been a breakage and a stoppage, and that it changed the fight. The bottom line was, at the end of the day, in both Joyce, it's about overcoming. Boxing and fighting is about overcoming. Yeah, it's look up the definition in Webster's of boxing, fighting. I don't know what you're going to find exactly. Marcus of Queensberry rules, putting gloves on, pugilism. For me, the definition of fighting is overcoming. That's it. Overcoming. To be a champion, somewhere along the line, you got to find a way to overcome. And Dubois found that.
Can even comprehend. According to Bellew, Usyk is exactly the kind of exceptional athlete boxing needs: smart, disciplined, and brilliant in the ring. While Bellew acknowledges that no champion is invincible and all great fighters eventually taste defeat, he doesn't believe Dubois is the man to hand Usyk his first loss. He expects Usyk to win again, possibly by a late stoppage or on points. Bellew also pointed out that Usyk has already conquered giants like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and sees him.
Yeah, he gave in. I thought he gave in. He broke down. Mentally, emotionally, whatever you want to call it, physically, but I think more mentally in both the Joyce fight and the Usyk fight. But he came back, he redeemed himself, and he did what you said. He fought those 3 tough fights, and those fights, I think he would have fought them for free, at least the first 2, because it was about redeeming himself. It wasn't about getting paid. It was about finding out who he was, finding out what kind of man he was. It was really about living the rest of his life with pride instead of the opposite, with some shame. It was really about being able to get up every day and go outside and feel good about who walks outside on the road and what people are going to see. It was really about looking in the mirror and liking what was looking back at him.
Doing the same to Dubois. While he respects Dubois' growth and knockout power, Bellew questions whether he has the skill or stamina to defeat Usyk over 12 rounds. On the other hand, media personality Simon Jordan sees things differently. Jordan believes it's Daniel Dubois' time.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll. So I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
He called Dubois a ferocious beast and praised him not only for his recent success in the ring, but also for his personal growth outside of it. Jordan admired how Dubois walked into Wembley Stadium like a true gladiator, exuding a new level of maturity and confidence. According to Jordan, Dubois has improved tremendously in handling both the media and the mental side of the sport. Looking ahead to July 19th, Jordan believes the fight will be a thrilling event, but if Dubois is going to win, he insists it must be by knockout.
Really, really good fight. Dubois is a better fighter now than he was in the first fight, and he looked okay for periods in the first fight. Disappointed we've had ended as well, but Crawford, flip me, talking with the wrong fighters again. Yeah. Dubois is certainly a much more dangerous fighter than he was. So he does have a chance to win the fight, but in saying that, I've backed against Usyk a couple of times, and specifically the Fury fights. I don't think I'm ever going to back against him again. I think the guy's a genius and he just finds a way. I don't even think he was in the fights with a game plan. He figures people out as the fight goes on. And yeah, Daniel has a better chance, but don't back against Usyk. I think Usyk wins the fight.
Out. A points victory over Usyk, he says, is highly unlikely. Former world champion Duke McKenzie also chimed in, and his stance aligns more with Bellew's. McKenzie is convinced that if Dubois and Usyk clash again, Usyk will come out victorious once more. He believes Usyk will simply outbox Dubois, possibly even stopping him this time around. Comparing Usyk to a Premier League club and Dubois to a First Division side, Mackenzie emphasized that while Dubois has certainly improved, he hasn't yet reached Usyk's level. That said, Mackenzie doesn't dismiss Dubois' future. He believes the young Brit is more than capable of beating most others in the heavyweight division, but not Usyk. Respected trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas also offered a deep and personal analysis of Dubois. Atlas expressed admiration for Dubois not only as a fighter, but as a man who has grown stronger through adversity. He recalled the challenges Dubois faced, including the eye injury against Joe Joyce and the controversial body shot against Usyk. Atlas acknowledged that in those fights, Dubois didn't just fall physically, he gave in emotionally and mentally. But what matters most in boxing, according to Atlas, is how you respond. Dubois' journey since those setbacks has impressed Atlas. He noted that Dubois took on 3 difficult comeback fights, not for fame or money, but for personal redemption. Atlas said Dubois would have fought those matches for free if it meant regaining his pride. It wasn't about proving something to others. It was about proving something to himself. Atlas sees a different Dubois now, stronger, more mature, and driven by a sense of identity and honor. Chris Eubank Jr. also weighed in, recognizing that Dubois is currently riding a wave of momentum after his stunning win over Anthony Joshua. Eubank emphasized that both fighters have belief and confidence heading into the rematch. For him, the outcome will come down to who can stay composed under pressure and who wants it more when the going gets tough. Former champion Carl Frampton echoed similar sentiments, calling the rematch a really good matchup. Frampton acknowledged that Dubois is a far more dangerous fighter than he was in their first bout. He believes Dubois had some strong moments in that fight and was disappointed in how it ended. Still, Frampton has long been a supporter of Usyk and cautioned against underestimating him. He described Usyk as a boxing genius who doesn't need a fixed game plan, someone who adapts mid-fight and finds a way to win. Though he admitted that Dubois has improved significantly, Frampton still expects Usyk to emerge victorious. As July 19th draws closer, the boxing world is split. Will Daniel Dubois complete his redemption arc with a career-defining upset? Or will Oleksandr Usyk, calm and confident as ever, once again outclass his challenger and prove he remains the true king of the division? That's it for today's video. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Will Usyk knock out Dubois again, or can Dubois pull off the upset of the year? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out our other videos now on your screen for more boxing breakdowns, interviews, and previews.